Hey guys, what's up? Night Bastard here. I really don't have a name anymore. I just kind of upload videos to a channel. So as you can see, I'm on a Shadow Priest, and this is patch 6.0.2. Right now, Shadow Priests, they're not insane, but they're pretty viable in a couple compositions. So I figured, why not play one? I leveled my Priest, Shadow, and I really enjoy it. He's full honor gear right now, full 620 honor gear, and first thing I want to talk about is my talent choices. This is kind of a guide type thing. This is just like my opinion on what it works for me. I haven't done arenas yet, like with the team. I've done like 2 or 3 skirmishes, but it's not that much. Sorry if you can hear my chair squeaking. So, as you can see on my talent choices here, we got... Oop, I can't unlock it. Well, we have Spectral Guise. 30-second cooldown, and basically it stealths you for 3 seconds, or 6 seconds, rather, or until my actual person, my character, my toon, gets hit 3 times, which bleed ticks, poison ticks, and whatnot count for those. But it's still better than Bulwark in 3s, because Bulwark's cooldown is too long. Well, it's not really too long, 90 seconds. But the shield, it gives you 15% of your health. If someone gets you down below 30% health, then they can do 15% more damage, which would take you back up to 45. So it's almost half your health. Anyway, Desperate Prayer, 2-minute cooldown for only 22% of your health. It's not very helpful. I choose for my tier 30 Angelic Feather. Its speed increase is amazing. It only has a 10-second recharge, and you got 3 feathers. That's pretty good. Body and Soul is alright, but you can't use it as often, and it doesn't last as long as Angelic Feather. You can only use this in Shadow. You can use this every 14 seconds or 11 seconds if they destroy your shield, which usually ends up happening. In Phantasm, you don't use Fade in arenas, so that's not good. Now, this one was kind of difficult for me between Surge of Darkness and Insanity, but I figured I went Surge of Darkness because the fact that you get 3 targets, which you can see I have 3 training dummies in my garrison. That's where I'm at right now. So I'll show you guys once I get on to going over this stuff. Surge of Darkness, Vampiric Touch, and Devouring Plague have a 10% chance to cause your next Mind Spike to not consume your damage over time abilities, be instant, and deal 50% additional damage, and it can stack 3 times. Mindbender is the only thing that generates mana for Shadow Priests in Warlords of Draenor, but it's 1-minute cooldown. Well, it's actually the same as the Shadow Fiend. It's okay, but it's not as good as Surge of Darkness or Insanity. Now, Insanity. The problem with Insanity is it does some crazy damage, and in some compositions you can use Insanity. Insanity is consuming Shadow Orbs and transforms your Mind Flay into Insanity for 1.8 seconds per orb, which means it lasts 3 seconds per orb you spend, and it causes your Mind Flay to deal 100% more damage. Now, it's good if you stack crit, and I'll talk about my stats in a minute, because I don't stack crit or mastery or haste. Now, that's, you know. Now, a lot of people I've seen use Dominate Mind, but it's affected by diminishing returns, or it shares diminishing returns, which is DR, with other incapacitates. So if you use Dominate Mind and Polymorph, if you accidentally overlay them, like you overlap them, it doesn't last as long, and it's easy to get out of. But I have a solution for that. Psychic Scream is really good for fearing healers, and it has a short cooldown, 45 seconds, which is the length of the same amount of cooldown that is on Psychic Scream and Silence. Void Tendrils, use that in Battlegrounds to get away from stuff. But other than that, I guess 30-second cooldown. You could root a target behind a pillar in an arena, but he can break the Tendril way too easy. Or he can get life gripped by a priest, or he there's a couple things that could happen with that to get that out of the way. Now, obviously, 75 Shadowy Insight, your Shadow Word Pain, damage over time, and Mind Spike damage has a 5% chance to reset the cooldown on Mind Blast. Yeah, that's a given. I'm not even going to go over the other two because that's just like if you play Shadow, that's the talent you choose for 75. Now, this one is like the worst tier. It's level 90. You get Cascade, Divine Star, and Halo. Now, I had trouble deciding between Cascade and Halo because Halo, if you read it, it creates a ring of energy around you that quickly expands and grows in power up to 30 yards away. Deals 15,000 damage to enemies with the greatest effect at 25 yards. So 25 and 30 yards, it does the most damage. Divine Star is just, it's a healer thing. It's shit. It only does, for me, it does 10k if it hits both times, but it usually doesn't. Sometimes I just accidentally pop it off. Now, the reason why I choose Cascade over Halo is Halo's cooldown is 40 seconds, I believe. 40 seconds. Cascade is a 25-second cooldown, 40-yard range instead of 30, and you launch a shadowy bolt that grows with power, so it does more damage the farther it goes, for up to 8,000. And then it bounces between 4 enemies. Each time it bounces, it splits into 2 bolts. So if you hit your main target with it, it's going to split off to the other 2. That doesn't do that much, but it adds a little bit. It just adds like that little oomph of damage. And you'll see me use it when I go over my rotations later on in the video. Now, level 100, Auspicious Spirits and Clarity of Power. Now, I choose Clarity of Power because I like my instant cast Mind Blasts. The other part of it, your Mind Spike, Mind Seer, and Shadow Word Death deal 40% more damage to targets not affected by your Shadow Word Pain or Vampiric Touch. That part is okay if a healer clears dots, but their target is still low health. So what happens is you have 3 targets and you put Shane and Vampiric Touch on 2 targets and you got 1 target that doesn't have them. You focus that 1 target that doesn't have, this is just a scenario that could end up happening. You focus that 1 target, his health gets low, and those 2 other targets that have those 4 dots total on them can proc your Surge of Darkness. Remember, your Surge of Darkness procs, you do 40% more damage, and the Surge of Darkness does 50% more damage, so you got a 90% more damage on the instant cast Mind Spike. So you can't get kicked out of the Mind Spike, and it hits really hard. Void Entropy is balls. Auspicious Spirits, your shadowy apparitions grant you 1 orb instead of dealing damage. That's nice with Insanity if you're stacking crit, but I don't stack crit, and I'll go over the stat that I stack the most. So that's my talent tree. My glyphs. These are meh. I use Glyph of Mind Blast because it roots for 4 seconds, and if you can root a target behind a pillar, that can force a trinket, maybe. If they get rooted and they get scared, you might be able to force a trinket, which is good. And Glyph of Dispersion, which reduces the cooldown by 40% by 15 seconds. That's good. You know, whatever. Glyph of Dispel Magic. I'm gonna change this to either Reflective Shield or Glyph of Power Word Shield. So either Reflective Shield or Power Word Shield, because that doesn't do much. It does a little bit of damage when you're dispelling, but it's just a little oomph. So anyways, on to my stats. Now, I watched a couple guide videos, and I read a couple websites or whatever on what to stack. And I read on this one website that stacking multi-strike actually helps a little bit. Now I have 28% mastery, which is good. Only 8% haste, but that doesn't really affect me all that much. 12% crit. I critically strike a lot. But multi-strike, that does some crazy damage. And actually, if you get full procs and your multi-strikes, if you get multi-strikes on top of your procs and whatnot, that can do some scary damage. So I stacked multi-strike. I have 18.15% multi-strike. And you multi-strike a lot as a Shadow Priest, because your dots are always up, your instant cast Mind Blasts can multi-strike, your Cascades can multi-strike, Devouring Plagues can multi-strike, Mind Flake can multi-strike, and you can end up doing some crazy damage. Now I'm going to go over the Priest 2 and 4 set for armor this season. Your 2 set, when Dispersion ends, you gain 1,950 versatility for 10 seconds, which decreases your damage taken and increases your damage done. That's good for counter swaps, especially if you have the PvP trinket that grants versatility, which I do, right here. But your 4 set is so important to Shadow Priests, especially ones that find themselves using Psychic Horror a lot, for a lot of, you know, just like setting up plays and stuff. Shadow Orbs spent on Psychic Horror are refunded at a rate of 1 orb per 3 seconds. So if you spend 2 orbs, now this is how I play it. I will turtle until I have 2 orbs. I'll Psychic Horror a healer. That can force a trinket. That little thing, it won't always force a trinket, because some people are just smarter than that. But if you could force a trinket with that 2 seconds, with that 2-second incapacitate, it works really well. And you get those 2 orbs back. That lasts 3 seconds. I'll actually show you. This is how I play it. So I'll Mind Blast. I'll get my dots up. Mind Blast again. Now I have 2 Shadow Orbs here. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to pop a Silence, pop another Mind Blast. Now when that Psychic Horror is down, I'm going to do this. I'm going to silence the Priest, or silence the healer. Mind Blast again. I have 4 orbs now. Do that again. I'm going to get another Vampiric Touch up. Do that. Hit another Mind Blast. Throw a Cascade. Keep my shield up. You got to keep the shield up, because that's important. You know. You can just keep spamming out Devouring Plagues. You get Mind Spikes. It's just... And I'm also playing a Blood Elf. So if I get close to a healer, I can either Control 4, Psychic Scream, 6 seconds, Psychic Horror again. Psychic Horror's down. I'm gonna silence. I got a Devouring Plague. Healer gets close to me. Boom. There's another silence. It will interrupt, which is mainly what Arcane Torrent's for. Now I'm gonna talk about my keybinds, because if you look at my keyboard, it's kind of weird. I use my Control key a lot for different things. But I will actually... You do some scary damage. I mean, look at these... I mean, just like... Look at the multi-strikes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Your multi-strikes... And then your Shadow Apparitions can also multi-strike. I'll bring up my recount here. Mind Blast. Multi-strike. Maximum multi-strike for that one fight was 11k. Average 6. Shadow Word Pain. Maximum multi-strike was 2k. Vampiric Touch. Maximum multi-strike, 2k. Mind Spike, 8k. Mind Flay, 2k. Devouring Plague, 12k. Devouring Plague's dot didn't actually do anything. Cascades, multi-strike, hit for 7. Shadowy Apparitions, multi-strike, hit for 1.8. So, your multi-strike on a Shadow Priest, it has that oomph of damage. Like, you get like this little, it just kind of like, you know, it's just kind of like a decay, like a niche, almost. And it just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of goes along with the whole, like, dots and decaying thing. Like, if Affliction locks stack multi-strike, you are fudged. That would hurt if an Affliction lock ran, now that I think about it, I might, dang, that would actually hurt a lot. Anyway, but that's how I play my Shadow Priest. like I said, this is just my play style. I mostly play like this passive aggressive where I don't really do much. I just kind of like, I like the pillar and I like to keep myself alive. I have that survivability, but if I have to, I can get really aggressive, which is where that passive aggressive comes in. And I don't know, just my play style with a caster is, I'm not very good at casting, so I turtle a lot, and if I start taking a lot of damage, I'll pop dispersion on accident. Like I'll just like freak hit a button on accident, which I need to get better at. But this is just my play style, guys. If you enjoy it, play like me. If you don't enjoy it, don't play like me. It doesn't matter. But that's pretty much how I play Shadow Priest for 6.0. Yeah, so leave your comments below if you have any suggestions, because this is my first time playing Shadow Priest at max level. So I honestly have no idea what I'm doing exactly, but that's just how like my mind process is working out right now. So if you guys want to see guides for different characters, different tunes, I have a few. Monk is one. I want to do one for Monk, but I don't know if I'm going to do one for Monk yet. But yeah, go ahead and like and favorite the video if you enjoyed this, if you play Shadow Priest like this. I know not very many people do. Most people tell you to stack Mastery for the harder Mind Flays and Mind Blasts. But I stack Multi-Strike because I like having the decay damage. And I'll see you guys if I make another video, which won't be tonight. It'll probably be in a couple weeks when I have another level character that's more viable. And see ya.